Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Fitzcast, and today we're going to talk about the battle of the telcos. The last time we did this, we were talking about Singtel and the 6 things you need to look out for in Singtel. This week we're going to cover M1 and the 5 things you need to look out for in M1, especially when the 4th telco comes online in Singapore pretty soon. How is M1 going to handle the increased competition when that happens? All right, so with me today I have Victor. Hi Victor.
Hi everyone.
All right, and he's going to go through basically the 5 things you need to know about M1. But before we dive into that, let's basically find out more about M1's business model and what the business is all about. So we can tell us more a bit about M1.
Basically, M1 is actually owned by 3 substantial shareholders: Axiata Investment, and Keppel TNT and SPH. Okay. So the Axiata Investment, they actually owns about 28.42% of M1, and the Keppel TNT owns about 19.15%, and followed by SPH about 13.32%.
Okay.
But if you realize, SPH and Keppel TNT have a same major shareholder, which is Temasek.
Okay.
So basically, M1 is also partly owned by Temasek. Okay.
So basically, all the big companies in Singapore are owned by the Singapore government.
Definitely, yeah. Okay.
All right.
Then Axiata is owned by Malaysia government.
Oh, okay.
Khazanah.
Okay.
Khazanah, they are sovereign fund.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So M1 is owned by Malaysia
and Singapore. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So very good investors there.
Okay. Basically,
all right.
Okay. Basically, M1's revenue is generated from 4 of their business segments. Okay. Firstly, the mobile telecommunication service, which is one of their largest segment in the whole revenue, because it accounts 62% of their total revenue.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, how they generate money from this is through postpaid and prepaid SIM cards. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it all about? So basically, when you buy a postpaid, means that you sign a contract with them for 2 years. Okay, you apply and they give you their line, SMS, fixed data, all this something, and you're paid in your contract. So every month you pay that same amount. If you use excess of usage, you pay a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this create a form of recurring for them.
Okay.
Second is their prepaid customer. Okay, their prepaid is when it's a card where you buy and there's a store value inside.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you use up the value, you top up. Okay, and usually this prepaid is targeted to foreign workers. Okay, the Philippines, the Bangladesh, and all this kind of thing. People who are working in Singapore, foreign workers. Okay, and also the tourists that come to Singapore. Okay.
So basically, everyone's quite familiar with postpaid and prepaid SIM cards. So postpaid cards are basically the mobile data plan. I mean, the mobile plans that you subscribe to for 2 years, and lock you down. You get to use the phone. And the prepaid SIM cards are mainly for foreigners and tourists that come.
Yes, correct.
And they want to get a card that they can use for a while, and then they hit.
Yes, yeah.
All right. Okay. So that's the biggest revenue contributor for M1 right now.
Yes, correct.
All right. Okay. And it accounts for 62%
of the total
revenue. All right. So what's the next biggest revenue contributor?
Okay. The next biggest revenue contributor is actually their handset sales, which account about 23% of their total revenue. Okay. And this handset sales business is actually related to their 14 M1 shop that they own and their online store, where they focus in selling different smartphones. Okay, Apple, Samsung, LG, HTC, Sony, Asus, and BlackBerry. Okay, of course I don't see any Nokia down there.
But BlackBerry still around.
BlackBerry is still around. Yeah. So
I don't use a BlackBerry now.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
And of course there's Xiaomi and Oppo, some China brands they are all down there.
So basically, M1 sells a lot of handphones, a lot of smartphones.
Yes,
because basically. All the iPhones, the Samsung Galaxy S's, all those phones, M1 does a very good business because it accounts for 23% of revenue.
Yes, correct.
All right, so they sell it through their shops, 14 shops,
and their online store,
and the online store as well.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
So their last 2 segments, which is the international core and the fixed service, are the smaller segment. Okay. The international core accounts about 8% of their total revenue. Okay. Basically, it's very simple. You call overseas, they charge.
So like SMS call.
SMS overseas they charge. Okay. Yeah. But of course, this segment is being affected by the internet.
Yes.
Okay. The WhatsApp, the Vibers, and all
so everyone's using the internet now and all these apps to communicate long distance. You no longer have to call long distance. You no longer have to text long distance. Everything is done through internet applications. So this segment is really going to fall, and it's going to continue to fall.
Later we'll show you the numbers later.
All right. Okay. And what are fixed service?
Their fixed service is basically their broadband service, which I just found that they have a broadband.
Okay, so M1 provides broadband internet.
Yes.
For homes and offices.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So personally, I don't know that they provided.
Okay. I didn't know as well.
They started in 2008, so they are late comer to this industry. Okay. For this. And it accounts 7% of their total revenue.
Alright, so basically these 2 segments don't really contribute a huge amount of revenue to M1.
Yeah.
So they're mainly the handset sales and the postpaid and prepaid.
Yes, correct.
services. All right, so that's more or less M1's, very briefly, that was M1's business model, where the revenue comes from, where the profit comes from. So now we're going to go into the 5 things that you need to know about M1, especially when the 4th telcos can come in, how they're going to handle the free competition, stuff like that. So what's the first point that you need to know about M1?
The first point we want to know is we want to know about the market share of M1. Okay, in the past when M1 just came out, they had the second largest mobile operator in Singapore. Okay, I remember when they came out, so many people are swapping over to M1. So immediately at that 1 year, they took up 10% market share.
In 1 year?
Yeah.
From Singtel?
Yes, from Singtel. Yeah. And immediately after a year, StarHub came out.
It's a bit bad luck for
them. A bit bad luck for them. Okay. Then along the way, StarHub actually outbeat them and become second, and they become third. Okay. So if you look at the table below, right, from 2005, their total market share for mobile segment is actually 29.3%. Okay. Till now, they have dropped all the way to 22.9%.
So in 10 years, their market share has been falling.
Yes, correct.
Every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually due to very stiff competition and also the mobile number portability regulation. Okay. Basically, what is this mobile number portability? Okay. I remember during my days when I was in my secondary school, right, I owned I think a Singtel mobile SIM card. Okay. Then I decided to swap over to StarHub. Okay. When I swap over to StarHub, I have to buy a new line. While retaining my old line in Singtel. Okay. And I off the phone and divert the number to my new line.
So basically you had to get a new number when you switch to Singtel.
Basically you own 2 SIM cards.
Yeah.
And it's very troublesome. Okay. So in 2008 the government changed the rule. Say that okay, if you want to go to another telco, you can go and you can bring over your number. Okay, so you don't need to have so many SIM cards. Okay, so this create competition within the telcos.
Because it was now easier to move between telcos that gave you the best deal. Because now knowing that you could keep your phone number, the convenience of keeping your phone number, you can just go to the telco that gives you the best deal, and you go there, you keep your number, everything remains the same.
Yes, correct.
So because of this, people have been leaving M1 to Singtel and StarHub because I guess M1 hasn't been doing too well in retaining their subscribers and stuff like that.
Yeah. So actually, in the past, telco have this kind of high switching cost mode. Okay. But because of this mobile number portability, there's no high switching cost. People can switch if there's no extra other values.
Okay. So M1 hasn't been offering a good as deal as M1 or Singtel and StarHub.
No, because Singtel and StarHub they got other things.
Other strategies.
They got brand, they got cable TVs and all that. So it's a total different strategy.
Alright. So M1 has been losing out. Overall because of that. Yeah. Okay. So that's the first point. So what's the next point about M1?
Okay. The next point of M1 is their prepaid mobile subscriber. Okay. Their prepaid mobile subscriber, you realize in 2005 all the way up to 2012, right, they increased from 436,000 prepaid mobile subscriber all the way to 1.014 million. Then after that, after 2012, they start to decline all the way to 703,000 prepaid mobile subscriber in 2014.
Okay, so what happened here? How come there was a growth all the way to 1 million in 2012? And then after the peak, it went all the way down to 700,000 prepaid subscribers.
Okay, I would say that within the year of the growth is because of M1 initiative of consistently going to connect with the foreign workers. Okay, that's why they are able to keep capturing market shares on the prepaid segment. Okay, and the drop is caused by the Infocomm Development Authority of Singapore, IDA. They changed the regulation. Okay, in the past, any person can own up to 10 prepaid SIM card. Okay, and because they changed the regulation, now one person only can own maximum 3 prepaid SIM card. Okay, and because of that, you saw their mobile subscriber rate drop. Okay, and of course it affects across all boards. It affects across all the telcos also. It's not only M1.
So basically, the prepaid subscribers dropped from 2012 onwards because of this this new regulation by the IDA.
Yes, correct.
And it's affected M1, but it's affected everyone else as well. But if M1 has been focusing a lot of the efforts on this prepaid segment, which they have, right?
Yeah, but it's also still very competitive.
It's still very competitive, but if they're focusing a lot on this, and then everything drops because of this idea, they're going to be affected a lot more than someone else that just focus more on postpaid.
Like we said, prepaid segment is very competitive. I mean, every telco is trying to get a pie because in Singapore, the prepaid and postpaid segment is 50-50.
Okay.
So that means 50% of the people are using the SIM cards are postpaid, 50% are prepaid. Okay, so most of the prepaid is caused by take by foreigners and tourists. Okay, so it's a very important chunk of market that every telco cannot lose. Okay, and that is why it's so competitive that you can see the average revenue per user for M1 per month have dropped in 2005 $21 per user all the way to $14.5 per user.
So it's kind of like a price war in a sense, because they have to charge cheaper and cheaper. That's why average revenue per user is
not only M1. If you look at across all boards, all the telcos also, they are throughout the years that have been reducing and increasing their value base.
So this is a very competitive industry to be in. In Singapore, basically, it's a very small market as well.
Yes, definitely.
Alright, so average revenue per user has been falling for M1.
Yes.
For prepaid subscribers over the last 10 years as well. Alright, so what is the third point about M1 that we need to know about?
Okay, the third point of M1 is due to the stiff competition and the mobile number portability, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the table below on point 3, you realize that M1's acquisition cost per customer for postpaid SIM card actually increased by 3.4 times throughout the 10 years. Okay, from $103 to acquire one customer in 2005 all the way to 2014, right, is $355 to acquire one customer.
That's a huge jump. To have your acquisition cost per customer go up by 3.5 times.
Yes.
It's really expensive.
That is really
expensive. Yeah. So I guess the increased competition means they have to spend more on marketing, they have to do more things just to attract the same one customer to join them. And this is getting very, very expensive.
It's very expensive, especially when the fourth telco coming in. It's definitely going to increase this cost. Okay, when the fourth telco coming in, it goes to be a consumer market. It's not going to be a telco market. Okay, the consumer going to benefit from the fourth telco coming in.
So basically, there are more choices now. Everyone's fighting for the same pie. And I guess marketing costs are going to go up for the telcos. M1 has already seen this happening for them.
And that's why you can see now that all the telcos are so aggressively going out doing roadshows, locking in all the customers right now.
Before the fourth telco
comes
in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically acquisition per cost has been going up, way up for M1 in the last 10 years. Alright, let's move on to the next point, which is
the fourth point. Okay. If you look at the table below, I showed you the revenue growth for all the four business segments that they have. Okay. If you look at the mobile telecommunication service one, which is their postpaid and their prepaid, their revenue growth for the past 10 years is only 1.6%.
So every single year they only been growing 1.6%.
So
in a sense they're not really growing.
Not really growing. That's not impressive. Okay. They are just
hanging there, right?
Okay.
All right.
So the fixed service was introduced in 2008. Okay. And the average growth for that fixed service was about 165.9%.
So every single year, average annual growth rate is 165%.
So you can see they grow from about 200,000 in 2008 all the way to 70.6 million.
For their broadband.
It's having a good growth.
It's good growth.
Definitely, they're trying to eat up into Singtel and StarHub's market share.
Alright. So this segment is doing well, but it's still a very small segment that contributes to revenue.
Yes, correct.
So we can't really say that this is gonna save M1 in a sense.
Yes, I'm right.
I mean, not that M1 is saving, but it's a small segment.
It's a small segment, but it's a possible growth driver for them.
Possible. Alright.
But it may not be a good one. So you have to see how it will pan out in the next few years.
Okay.
Right. Next is the handset sales. Okay. For the past 10 years, they have been growing about 15.2%.
Pretty good.
Average growth. Pretty good. Pretty decent. In the past, they are ranked third in the total revenue contribution. After that, they went up to take over the international core services. And if you look at the table, you realize that the international core services have been reducing from 121 million all the way to 89. Okay, and it's common because all telcos are experiencing that.
Long distance calls and long distance texts are no longer cool.
If you remember the Singtel article, you go back and see the international call also reducing.
Okay. So handset sales have been growing
nicely
for M1.
Okay, if you realize that handset sales have been growing in 2005, or 2005 to 2008 was not very impressive. Okay. So 2005 to 2008, they grew actually from 68.9 million. Then by the time 2008, it's still 62.1. So that's not impressive growth. But on 2008 to 2009, right, there's a slight spike from 62 to 80. So that's where the introduction of more and more smartphones.
Smartphones, the iPhone, the Samsung,
right.
all that. Yeah.
Then after that, in 2009 to 2010, right, you saw a big spike.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a huge
from 80.9 million all the way to 246.3 million.
Yeah.
And this spike is caused by the introduction of many smartphones, inclusive of, at that point of time, the iPhone 4S launch.
iPhone 4.
iPhone 4 launch.
Yeah.
Okay, at that year. Okay.
Right. So basically, whenever like Apple launches a new iPhone that's really like everyone's mad about it, everyone's going to rush to M1 to buy the latest, coolest gadget in town.
Yeah.
So every time there's a new gadget, M1 sells more phones.
Of course, after that you saw the thing continue to spike in 2011 from 246.3 million all the way to 340 million.
Yeah.
After it started going down, okay, after it started to gradually go up, it go all the way down to 188.1, then after it go up to 245.3. Okay. But I would say that the handset sales will continue to grow, but it won't be as impressive as the one in 2009-2010 where it jumped from 80 to 246 million.
Okay.
Why? Because at that point of time, people are transiting from the Nokia phone, okay, the normal
dumb phone,
right, to the smartphone.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the past, everybody's holding dumb phone, and after they swap over to the smartphone. Okay.
So there was a spike in content because of that.
Yes, correct.
People moving.
Yeah, correct. But not everybody are using smartphone.
Yes.
So you don't expect as a big move that the whole everybody in the world that is moving.
Yeah.
So you won't see a big spike anymore.
Okay.
You'll just see that they're probably going to maintain the growth.
Okay.
And all this kind of thing.
All
okay.
Right.
And of course now more and more places are selling smartphones already.
Okay.
Okay. Last time the telcos are the first one who always take the mobile the iPhone and all this kind of thing coming in. So now everywhere is selling the smartphones and all this kind of thing. So there's not really a lot of exclusivity on it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So handset sales have been growing, and then internet call services have been falling, and the fixed services. So overall, M1's real growth drivers over the last 10 years is basically their handset sales and the fixed service. But fixed service is really
small. Very small.
Right, so M1's just basically hanging in there overall.
Yes, correct.
All right. So let's move on to the fifth point about M1, which is about what?
Okay. The fifth point of M1 is basically they recently around June, they actually announced that they're going to introduce this new mobile point of sales. Okay.
All right.
Or it's them collaborating with CIMB and Mastercard and Wirecard. Okay. To transform the smartphone and tablet right into some sort of like terminal. Okay. So that a lot of the merchants who never use only use cash before and switch it to a credit card, debit card payment.
So basically, in the past, you had to use like this clunky terminal to accept credit cards. But now with technology, you can basically turn your smartphone
into a
terminal to collect payment through credit cards and all. So a lot of small businesses, startups, if they want to collect cashless payment, this is a very convenient way to do so.
Yes.
Yeah. So M1 is basically coming into this industry with this M1 MPOS thing.
Yes.
All right. And they tied up with CIMB, Mastercard, Wirecard. So what do you think about this new area that M1 is going into?
Okay. Basically, the mobile payment segment is definitely, I can tell you, it's a growing segment in the future. It will definitely grow. Okay. It's depending on how the people actually will grow it. Okay. For M1 is that I think every customer can use the MPOS.
Okay.
But the merchants itself, right, have to be an M1 user to use it.
Okay. So basically, they have to be M1. They need to have an M1 data plan.
Yes.
To use this M1 POS system.
Yes, correct. Okay. But of course, this, if you talk about futuristic, people will say that this will be a growth driver and that kind of thing. But I would say it's still too early to say that whether it's successful or not. Okay. Because they just introduced it haven't generated revenue. Okay. You only go in, right, and this may be the future growth driver of M1. If it start to account more than 20% of their total revenue. Okay. If this sales only account 2% of their total revenue, if it double up to 4%, it doesn't move the revenue that much.
It doesn't really affect M1 that much.
So you have to track how this segment is going. Just for example, last time when we used to invest in Supergroup, okay, when we bought the Supergroup, I've been tracking Supergroup for many years. Okay, I tracked when the ingredient segment that they are growing was only 1%. Okay, and it didn't move, and it is growing every year by 50%. Every year is growing by 50%.
Okay,
every quarter is growing by 100. Every year is growing by 100%, and after that, few years later, it grows by 50%. Okay, but after it start to account about 30% of their total revenue, 20% of their total revenue. After it eventually grew until 30%. Okay. And that's the reason why we got in to ride on the thing. And there's demand over supply. Okay. So I saw all these favorable factor and I got in. It's never too late to go in. Okay, but you must make sure that it's confirmed that you go in.
So basically, based on your previous experience with Supergroup, this Supergroup sells instant coffee, right? And this one segment in their business which was growing really, really fast
at that point of time.
At that point in time, which is ingredients sales, right? And at first it was growing really fast, it was too small to basically take notice of it.
Yes, correct.
But what you're saying is the moment it becomes a very sizable contributor to revenue, that's when you take notice. Yes. If it's still growing that fast, it's really going to push revenue up.
Yes, correct.
And it's going to push the share price up if investors like it. All right. So this is what you're saying. The same thing here for M1.
Yes, correct.
This is M1 point of sale service that they introduced. It's still so new. I mean, they
still very new.
They just launched it in June. It's August now. It's basically just 2 months ago.
Yes.
So revenue is going to be close to nothing.
Close to nothing
right now. But what you're saying, over the next few years, if this segment grows really, really well and starts to account, like you say, 20% of M1's revenue, and it's still growing at a very good clip. It's something to take notice of.
Something to take notice, because every telco's got their first mover advantage. For instance, Singtel got their first mover advantage in the mobile sector. Okay, StarHub got their first mover advantage in their cable TV. Now, M1 is trying to form their first mover advantage in the mobile point of sale. But it's whether you're pan out or not, it's still a long way to see it. Probably it takes us another 1-2 years before you can go back at M1 and reassess. Okay, but if you look at M1 removing this point of sales, okay, currently if the fourth telco were to come in, it's going to be very hard on them. Okay. Definitely they will be in a very competitive environment for them. Okay, as compared to the other telcos where Singtels have their
foreign assets,
foreign regional mobile. Okay, and StarHub got their hubbing strategy, which you can go read up on the StarHub's article. Okay,
when it comes out.
Okay. So M1, among the three telco, probably they are at the lowest point, I would say. Okay.
So M1 kind of looks not too good when the fourth telco comes in and competition is going to go way up. So I mean, the market share has been falling for the last 10 years. Acquisition cost has been going up, etc. So it looks kind of tough for M1.
Yes, correct. But if the mobile point of sales start to pan out, it's a turning point for them.
Let's see, but
then we have to see.
We have to see how it goes.
All right. But if M1 were to really pan out this, then the fourth telco is going to be a very competitive position.
All right. Okay. So those are the 5 things you need to know about M1. Well, thank you so much for listening to this edition of Fifthcast. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you everyone.
All right. I hope you enjoyed and you really learned something from this article and from this Fifthcast, and you know some more things about M1, especially if you're an investor or you're looking at M1, what you need to know about. All right. So thank you for listening to this, and we'll see you next time.
See you.